What was the most tucked up or embarrassing Christmas gift you ever received? It was a shirt that had "I'm not a gynecologist but I'll take a look anyway." It was from my stepdad's mom. She knows I want to be a doctor and her English is no bueno. I found it hilarious. Once we translated it to her, she almost cried from embarrassment. I proudly wore it for the rest of the day. Christmas morning around the tree with my family and GF at the time. We are all opening presents and I open one from my GF. I unwrap the box and inside I find a flat-billed baseball hat. Strange. I neither wear hats nor give a shit about the team whose logo was plastered on the front, let alone the sport. So I pull it out and hold it up so everyone, but mainly my GF, could see. All the adults give a quizzical look. Even my little sister makes a huff face. You say. But totes. Maybe it was gift to a male friend. Are you against your GF having male friends? No. I am not. Just wait. So I say something like, thanks. Her face drains of color. She says, oops. That is for someone else. Must have brought it inside on accident, then snatches it out of my hands. And then I hold out the card that was attached to the wrapping. Hey baby. Love ya lots. Merry Christmas. And to clarify, yes. She was cheating. I guess there were tickets to some big upcoming game tucked inside the hat too. Needless to say, it was ducking embarrassing to have to essentially break up with your GF in front of your family on Christmas morning. Typos and shit. Am not a writer. And happy holidays to you too. My cousin had died in a drunk driving accident a few months before. So my mom got me a breather as a keychain. It wouldn't have been so bad. But the card it came with said it was from my cousin. I see what my mom was trying to do. But still ducked up. Imo. Edit. Spelling. This wasn't my gift. But it was the most awkward situation ever. So a few years ago my grandma had her legs amputated. Don't feel bad. Since then, her health has improved a ton. Anyway, last Christmas my aunt bought her socks. It was so awful. 3 years ago I got a shake weight Christmas morning. When I opened it my dad laughed and yelled, "It's for practice when you get bored in the dorms," while making a jacking off handy gesture in front of my grandparents. Every year my family does a secret Santa on Christmas. When I was about 10 my aunt had to buy me a gift. So Christmas morning I open my gift. And I find a Christmas sweater along with a pair of my aunt's sheet-stained underwear. Apparently she was doing laundry and wrapping gifts at the same time and got the two mixed up. I received a dictionary from my parents with the price sticker was still stuck on it. They bought it for $5. I wasn't even mad I didn't get anything the year before. Edit. AskReddit gold. In the late 70s, all the cool kids wore Ocean Pacific brand clothing. We were kinda poor, so my mom and grandma made most of our clothes. My grandma made me pants and hand stitched the letters O and P on the pockets. Looked nothing like the real thing. I had to wear them. Oh no. Those presents are the worst of all. You know they mean really well and want you to fit in and be happy. But somehow don't catch on that this makes everything so much worse. A week before I married my husband, his older sister got me a gift bag of lube, and I had to return it cause I checked the ingredients and was allergic to all of them. There was no moment in my life quite as embarrassing as having to return a full gift basket of like a dozen different types of sexual lubricant to the little old lady at Target. My grandma gave me bright red undies with googly eyes on them and an extra piece of black cloth to put your big dig inside as it knows I'm a girl. My parents are separated and when I was younger I had really wanted an N64. Both my mom and my dad asked what I wanted. And I told them. Along with my grandparents. Come Christmas morning I was delighted to find an N64 beneath the tree. Lo and behold I go to my grandparents' house later that day to open one last present under the tree. An N64, atomic purple controller too. My mom hadn't been talking a lot with my grandparents at the time, and the miscommunication about who was getting what was pretty obvious based on the look people were giving each other. Next day my mom drops me off at my dad's. They didn't get along a lot at the time, and jokingly says, "I don't suppose you got him an N64 too?" And my dad's eyebrows shot up about a foot. Donkey Kong edition. To this day I still have all three. A gift card to lingerie store from my grandma. The ducked up part wasn't the gift itself, but the fact that she made my poor 19-year-old brother go in and buy it. As he told it, the conversation went something like this. Cashier, shopping for your girlfriend? Brother, no. My sister, well, my grandma. Awkward silence. A wooden pop-out playset from my aunt. Recommended age was 2-4. I was 14. My grandmother gave my boyfriend a coffee mug with a German Shepherd dog on it. He has never owned nor expressed any interest in German Shepherds. He uses it at work. It's a great conversation starter. "Oh, do you have a German Shepherd?" "No." Edit. I should also mention here that my sister's boyfriend received an identical German Shepherd mug. And he also does not have a German Shepherd. My sister got a bag of Kroger shredded cheese from my aunt one year. My mom gave me a bag of fried onions for my 30th birthday. Your sis and I should find somebody who got green beans or something and try to whip up a casserole. I once got a used copy of the Snakes on a Plane soundtrack. Upon later investigation, the disc was cracked. The next year I received a copy of the movie. I have never expressed an interest in soap. I was dating this girl. She knew I was self-conscious about my teeth. I have fluorosis, so I wouldn't smile very much. When I did, I try really hard to hide my teeth. Well, this girl's family bought me a toothbrush. It even had my name on it. I'm so sorry. That sounds horrible. I hope that she stood up for you or that you are not with her anymore, because no one deserves that. I understand your pain. I have scoliosis and strangers always feel obliged to come up to me and tell me that I need to stand up straight when I can't. For me, my family was doing a Chinese gift exchange last year where you buy a random gift. And when everyone gets together you put your gifts in a circle and pull numbers out of a hat. This number determines what order you pick gifts in. Anyhow, it was my turn to go. I picked up the one box that looked the most promising. I proceeded to shake the box very violently, only to hear thud 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 every time. The person who bought the gift started freaking out and told me to stop and open it. She bought a budgie bird and put it in there. So here I was, stuck with this brain damaged bird that I had to take home with me and was scarred for life from being in that box. My first Christmas with my wife's family. They have Dirty Santa. Her dad takes it seriously and gets adult themed presents. But he is the only one. I just happened to pick his gift bag. It's a dildo and a porno with Nal in the title. It got stolen from me later, but then I showed them all by stealing it back in the last round. It sits in my nightstand now 7 years later, and I still poke my wife in the butt and ask her if she wants to try her dad's dildo from time to time. Not me, but about my brother. In high school he was caught sleeping over at a girl's house and didn't grab all of his clothes before he left. My parents were really upset with him for this. They contacted the girl's family, wrapped them up in a huge box and gave it to him. The look on his face was a painful mix of shame, anger, and sadness. My grandparents are notorious regifters. There was this old, broken pinball game thing that every time they'd gift to one of us, we'd leave it at their house. Then they would find it and gift it again in a couple years, like we'd forgotten. One time they gave my mom 3 wine glasses. One was chipped. My parents always did a Christmas auction at their house with little gifts and silly ones. I spent $700 Monopoly money on frozen cat crab. That's quite the exchange rate. Well, this one time I got a Star Trek action figure when I specifically asked for a Star Wars one. Like, what kind of a sick duck would do that? My mom gave me condoms after finding out about my cousin's abortion. Edit. Just to clarify. I did duck my cousin, but I was not the father. You shouldn't be ducking your cousin. Pervert. I had mentioned to my uncle one year that I wished I could grow a beard like his. Come Christmas time, my uncle hands me the present he got me. I unwrap it and what do you know? It's his beard in a Ziploc bag. My mother passed away when I was in high school. One of the years after she passed, my dad kinda sorta forgot to buy me a big Christmas present. So I came downstairs, went to get my stocking, we still do stockings, and pulled out a fistful of 20s. He'd run to the ATM early that morning so I'd have something. The cash was great and all, but at the time, it felt awful because I just missed my mom and wished we could have a proper Christmas. One Christmas, my 4-year-old brother got a TV with a DVD and VHS player in it. My sister got a computer, and I got a bookshelf. I was pissed. My sister didn't even like computers. WTF? I guess to add insult to injury, a few years later she was given a printer. Like, she had a big heavy gift. She got all pumped in the days preceding Christmas. And when she opened it, it was a printer. She cried for like an hour. It was terrible. On the upside, we really needed a new printer. My uncle presented my family with a very large gourd once, in the middle of a restaurant. No one wanted it. We left it there. I'm picturing your uncle as a very proud Uncle Fester, complete with black robe, walking into the restaurant, looking around earnestly for your family, finally seeing you, walking up to your table and then gingerly placing a huge pumpkin on the center of the table before walking out, without saying a word. Wasn't a Christmas gift, but a really notable birthday gift for a 16-year-old girl. My twin sister and I received coordinating lingerie from my older brother and his mail order bride. It was really awkward. I really hope it was just a culture thing on her part. Peter didn't expect to come back to this thread. My brother lived at home until he was 32. Met this woman through some sort of service. This was mid-1980s. And first met her when he flew out to the Philippines to satisfy requirements for her fiancé visa. I was just a kid, and not very interested in the whole situation. My brother was 16 years older than my twin and me, and super creepy. My dad was bothered enough by the gifts to not insist we spend time with my brother much after that. This was 27 years ago, and they're still married. Not embarrassing but awkward as duck. My dad bought my mom an actual human skull for Christmas a few years back. He wrapped it in a box some toy came in. My parents are weird. This wouldn't have raised an eyebrow at my house. Unfortunately, we did our gift exchange at my maternal grandmother's, who is much less creative with gifts. My dad and brother waited for this to be the last gift given. It was a big presentation. Upon opening it, my mom squealed and shoved it back in the box. She was excited but knew it would go over well. Of course, now everyone wants to know what is in the box. My grandma insists my mom take out the mysterious gift and show it to the room. My aunt started screaming, made her kids leave the room. My grandma almost fainted and told us to get it out of the house immediately. 'Twas hilarious. TLDR, my dad says 7 and my mom on Christmas in a hilarious fashion. My father decided that it was a great idea to give his medically constipated son toilet paper and wet wipes in front of the whole family as a joke. I didn't see my grandpa that often as a kid, so whenever he bought presents for me and my brothers, they were always the cliche, terrible grandparents gifts. One year, I remember he got me this incredibly freaky porcelain jester baby sitting cross-legged on a pillow. When you wound up the key on the back, it would slowly start spinning at the hips while playing a song from a tiny internal music box. It made the best torment fuel against my brothers for a long time though. So that was good.